So I had a natural home birth with my first child, my rainbow baby. I gave birth at 38 plus 5 days. I already had a feeling that I was gonna give birth a little earlier, around like 38 or 39 weeks. I told like my midwife and some very close friends, because I kept my due dates and even like due months or whatever. I kept it all secret. Really didn't want to be bothered. The day before I went into labor, I had an appointment at my midwife. That day she called me and she told me that she was attending a birth, so she was gonna have to reschedule our appointment, and the next appointment that we had planned was like a week later. And then I was like, okay, but that's like still a week, maybe I might have given birth already then. So yeah, then we planned the appointment a day later, because I told her, but what if I already like given birth by then? because like I kind of had a feeling that I might give birth a little earlier. So yeah, so our appointment was rescheduled to the day later, and I jokingly, and I told my husband that we weren't going to the midwife and that she was attending another birth. But I jokingly said to my husband that if I were to give birth today, that day, then it was gonna be like that. So be it. Even if my midwife was attending another birth, I'm not gonna let this stop or hinder me from potentially going into labor. So whatever. Little did I know, I was almost gonna go into labor. We went that day, got our pizza, and then ate it. So the birth pool was installed. It was in the middle of the living room, and my husband that day finished hanging up some curtains that we really wanted to hang for privacy before going into labor. So that day we got that done, and then everything was ready. So then everything was set, everything was ready, and I took a bath, my nightly bath, and I had like a little type of like period cramp, but I didn't really think anything of it. So yeah, but I took the bath and it was dark, and I just had like one electric candle, or like battery powered candle, and I just went into bed with like one candle in the whole bathroom. So it was really dark but really cozy, kind of. So, and I knew that was good for oxytocin boosting. So yeah, I just took my daily hot evening bath, and then I did my daily, which I started at 37 weeks, evening primrose capsule. I put it inserted it vaginally to help prepare for labor and soften my cervix. So yeah, I did that. Perhaps I also did a perineum massage. I did that often as well to prepare my perineum area, so I didn't tear. Earlier that day, I think I had to go use the toilet a lot more times than than is normal. So that was kind of weird as well. And I told my really good friend that, and then she also, that night she asked, "How are you feeling?" And then I just told like what I did, that everything was ready, and that I was a little like some crampy, but I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna go to sleep, and everything is like ready for home birth, so baby, you know, everything's ready. And I also told, like, I think maybe it was that day, but I kind of let go of like the thought of going into labor earlier, because I really, you know, I really felt that. And so I kind of want to let go of that, because I didn't want to, you know, focus too much on that. And that was the day I also told my friend that I was going to trust God to start my labor when he felt that I and my baby were ready to give birth. That was really good of me, because you know, really surrendering will happen when it will happen, when God decides it will happen, was really good. I got a massage from my husband, a foot massage, and then I just kind of went to sleep, but I wasn't really asleep, I think, or like maybe I was, I don't know, but I had a little bit of cramps, and I was kind of, I had to like go like like kind of, you know, because it hurted a little bit, but I didn't think anything of it. And then when it was almost 1 a.m., you know, it started to be noticeable that I had cramps, and they hurt a little bit, and they came, and then they went away, and then they came again, which is really odd, because like, yeah, period cramps are like constantly kind of, but these came and then they went and then they came back again. So it started to kind of like be like a routine, and it started to be noticeable to me. That's when I kind of asked my husband to he had this contraction app, timer app, downloaded, and that's when I asked him to you know, let's time it for like, I don't know, for like a couple of contractions, or like an hour. And then we did that, and my contractions were every 5 minutes, 1 minute long, for an hour. And then we were both really confused, because we kept asking people, how do contractions feels like, and how we're gonna know that labor has started. And everyone was like, yeah, the beginning can take hours, it can take days. Yeah, so, and also like that it was gonna be probably after 40 weeks for a first time baby and stuff. So we were really confused that it was like happening so fast, because the timer even said like to go to the hospital. So it was like so confused. So yeah, it just kind of started, but it kind of like, according to everything, it was like really already like in it. So we were really confused. But my husband texted the midwife to let her know that he was having contractions every 5 minutes, 1 minute long, for an hour, but that we were gonna try to get some rest, get some sleep. And apparently she received that message like 3 minutes or something after the birth she was attending ended. So that was kind of funny. I tried to sleep. My husband was able to take a nap for a little while, a couple hours, and I tried to, but I wasn't able to sleep because it was painful and it kept coming, and I labored alone for like a couple of hours. I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna wait until like 7 a.m. because I kind of want my husband and like my midwife to get a good rest so they have enough energy to be in my birth. But then 6 a.m. came, and it was really intense. It started to really get really intense, and I was kind of, you know, feeling pressure, and yeah, it was kind of different. It was a lot more intense, so I really felt the need to wake my husband up and tell him that it is getting really serious and intense. And I was kind of getting worried, like, where is my midwife? She needs to be here now. Call her. So yeah, then he called her, and then yeah, she arrived around 7 a.m, 7:30 or something like that. She arrived, and I found it a little weird to suddenly have, the midwife here, because that was really meant it is happening. Crazy. But I got through the active labor through making a lot of noise. Yeah, a lot of noise, and that's how I got through it. It was intense, but making a lot of noise really helped. And active labor for me was not the most intense part, I think. And then my husband was filling up the birth pool, and just before the midwife arrived, at 7 a.m. or something, my waters broke. So I was kind of laboring on a puppy pad because it broke. And I also went on the bird ball, sitting on the bird ball. I also leaned over it and stuff, and that helped. But sitting on it, I did not like that at all, because there was pressure. It was not fun to sit on the bird ball itself. My midwife, when she arrived around 7 a.m, she suspected that I was around 8 centimeters from what she saw and heard. She did not do any cervical checks, but yeah, she assumed that I was around 8 centimeters. And then she told me, just see if you would like, you can get into the pool. And I was like, really? Oh wow. Okay, so I was kind of surprised, because I knew that getting into the bird bath is only recommended when you're pretty far, because otherwise it might slow labor down. But yeah, I was happy to get into the bird tub, and then I did that. I was getting pretty deep into the laboring process, and it was getting intenser and intenser, and the hours that I was in bath were the most intense of my whole labor, but that probably was because it was so far. So I was in the bath from around 8 a.m. till baby was born at 12:43 p.m. So for a little bit more than 4 hours, I think I was in the bathtub for. So yeah, I made a lot of noise, and the midwife, she was kind of she was suggesting that I try maybe some breath. I had a lot of pressure down there, and especially my behind, my butt. It was really, I kind of had contractions there, which was not fun at all. And then around 10 at around 10 a.m. or at 10 a.m. I finally started to listen to my midwife. She said, breathe down to what you're feeling. I'm just feeling immense pressure down there, and in my butt especially. And she was like, breathe down to your butt. Breathe down. Okay, so that's when I started breathing baby down. For me, that was really breathing baby down. And yeah, so I did that, and then all the continued contractions started to get so intense, and I couldn't make the loud sounds that I was making previous to that anymore. I was really breathing down, really quiet and breathing down. I guess that's kind of when I started to push, breathing baby down. It's kind of pushing. And then around 10:30, the midwife asked if she could perhaps check where baby was, how far I was, and she did, and she could already feel baby's head after my behind my pubic bone, and she was like, go ahead and feel. So yeah, that was crazy to know, oh, baby's head is there already. The second midwife, there's always a second midwife present at home births usually here. At around 11 a.m. the midwife entered. There was also a point where I really started to actively push, so I couldn't breathe down anymore, and I started really actively pushing and also making loud noises again. I don't know when exactly that was, but yeah. The second midwife and even the third midwife, a future colleague of them, arrived mid really intense pushing contraction. But yeah, so then I had a whole birth team surrounded me in the bathtub. My midwife, I was really looking at her and I was really scared because it hurted so much, but it really helped to be able to like look in her face, and she really needs to be next to me. I held onto her arm, and my husband was like at the right side also holding me, and they could not leave my side. I did not want them to leave my side. The third midwife, she took pictures and videos. Luckily she was there, otherwise we probably wouldn't have a lot of pictures or anything because it was really intense. And I did not want them to leave my side. And then the second midwife was also kind of comforting. She was also there, just like her hand on my leg. And yeah, then yeah, it really, the pushing phase was the most intense for me, the most challenging. Also because it lasted hours. It lasted more than 2 hours. First time baby, that's kind of normal, but yeah, it lasted a lot, and I was not prepared for how long that was going to be and like how intense and painful it was going to be. I really underestimated how challenging the pushing phase would be. Time, the concept of time during birth is so weird, so crazy. It feels on the other hand like eternity, but on the other hand, if you look at like the time stamps, you wouldn't have thought there were like so much like hours or this or that between this, when this happened or this happened. Time concept is so weird during birth. Baby's head was wrapped 2 times, cord around her neck, and then 1 time around her shoulder, so maybe that was why the pushing phase was a little bit longer. So at one moment I really felt as if my clitoris was gonna rip, but luckily it's like really strong. But yeah, it was so intense, and it was really weird to like really feel the head in your like hand. And then when the head was like really there and it didn't go back anymore, it's kind of like a panicky moment, because like just then it kind of stays the feeling. But yeah, it was really intense. And then at 12:43 p.m. my baby was born, and like her cord was wrapped a couple of times. But the second midwife quickly and gently unwrapped it. No panic. It was really such a natural and no panic, like hands off birth, which I'm really thankful for. For everyone in my birth team, they were really amazed at like how well I did. I was really scared of the pain that I felt. I was not prepared for it. The pushing phase, like I did not expect it was gonna be that intense. And it was really long as well. After like giving birth naturally myself of my first baby, I have developed a new sense of respect for every woman that also has given birth naturally, and especially if their first baby, because your body has never done that before, and usually it takes a little longer and stuff. My birth was around 12 hours, which is pretty good time for like a first baby, so I'm really thankful for that. Birth is really intense, also scary at times, especially when you get to a certain time in your labor. It feels like there's no return, and the only way through is to go through it. you cannot pause it, which is really scary. It keeps on coming, and yeah, it's so intense. It's crazy. It was like too much and not tolerable, but you have to get through it, and you will get through it. Yeah, it's so crazy, so intense. Wow. After birth, we waited more than an hour before finding out our baby's gender. She's a girl. I did not expect that at all. Like, not in my third trimester. I was convinced it was gonna be a boy. So that was such a surprise. And then I think we waited more than 2 hours before cutting the cord. And my husband did that, as well as finding out the gender. And yeah, my baby was 3.2 kilos. She was a girl, 48 centimeters long. So amazing. These comparisons of like stubbing your toe is like not useful pain, but like childbirth is useful pain. And so I kind of had like a wrong idea of like how childbirth was gonna be. I seriously underestimated how intense it was gonna be. Really well prepared during pregnancy, but during the birth itself, something came up, like a fear or something, and I really hope that I'll be able to work on that to be less fearful. Evening primrose oil really helped prepare my cervix and birth, because like it went really smooth actually. I feel positive about the evening primrose oil. I also did dates and red raspberry. I kind of got sick and tired of the dates and the red raspberry leaf tea, because I started it at like 28 weeks of pregnancy, which probably was a little too early. Or maybe not, but like if you get really sick of things fast, perhaps, because I was getting tired of it by like week 36 or something. And what I also did was daily, especially in my third trimester, daily I did pelvic floor exercises and just moving my pelvis, being really mobile with it. The bird ball and just everything that felt good I did to my pelvis, because I really wanted to make space and have it be flexible. So I did that daily, and that also really helped, I think. So yeah. And then just mindset and really informing myself a lot, watching a lot of home birth videos as well, home birth videos of first child specifically, because I really wanted to kind of see other people that are gonna give birth to their first child. So for my second birth, I will probably look at videos of like home birth of second child, because then it's like a little bit different, because I've already went through the first time. Curious how a second labor will be like. And yeah, I'm gonna work on processing the experience of natural labor with the first. They say, you know, natural labor, you forget the pain you went through. And yeah, I'm curious how that will be. You have to really work a whole lot in birth, get through it. And it's like, yeah, a lot of also concentration to get through the contractions, and it asks so much of you. Placenta birth, I was planning on doing it underwater in my birth tub, but baby was getting a little bit cold, so we decided to get out of the tub and into the sofa. And I was really anxious to give birth to another something, because I already given birth to my baby, and I was not in the mood or wanting to give birth to my placenta. I was really over it. I didn't want anything to go through there anymore, but you know, it had to. But I, together with my midwife, just gently pulled on the cord and kind of breathed through it, and I was like, okay, pause, rest. And yeah, so we got the placenta out that way, because I really did not want to push anymore. I did not want to birth another something. I really went for a home birth. I first had another midwife, but I switched midwives because I felt that I was in need of another midwife that really had the trust and confidence that we were 200% was gonna go for home birth. So I did that. I switched providers pretty late in pregnancy, I think around like 30 weeks. I changed. Are so good, and I'm so thankful that they were in my birth team, and I'm also really thankful for my husband who was well prepared, well informed, and really supportive. I could not have done it without them. I really needed them. I really needed all of them to be around me in the birth tub. I even broke the birth tub was broken after the birth. There was a hole punctured. Like, it was really intense. My natural home birth of my first baby went well. It was a successful home birth. You can do it as well with the right preparation.